question, can you tell us a little bit more about the story, right? Like, yes, you had an idea, but how did you guys start off with? Did capital even matter, or does only idea matter? Can you go through the entire history or origin for us?
Yeah. So first we started, and then the first thing we did was talking to multiple people. I mean, we knew that it's some problem that we had, and if we solve it for ourselves, then there would be a lot of other people who would have the same problem and use the product. But we started talking to the people. Mainly, we started talking to UPSC aspirants in India because they write a lot, and their opinions are valuable there. So we started talking to a lot of people, and we did a lot of research in the early phases. And when we were researching, we also figured out there were other companies who are trying to do something similar in the Western markets, which were even like really, really successful. Like if you heard about Remarkable, they're doing pretty well, around 450 million in sales last year. But I mean, they have their own limitations. I use Remarkable, I use Books. I use around like 10 to 30 different types of devices which are in the market doing the same thing. At the same time, talking to a bunch of people. But the main problem was figuring out hardware. Sitting here in India, it's quite difficult to solve for hardware, because even if you have to iterate, let's say, on a small IC or even small display, it takes months or if not years here in India. So I I used to, I mean, when it was in early stages, 2023, I used to randomly DM a lot of manufacturers from China in Alibaba and wherever I could find them. So we worked with around 30 to 50 manufacturers. We got samples, and a lot of them were fucked up. We had to we had to figure out who is a good one, who is a bad one. So finally found like 5 to 10 really good manufacturers, and then my co-founder flew to China. He used to stay there for a couple of weeks and then work with them. So far we iterated on hardware for around like 5 to 6 times, slow iterations. There are many. I mean, I would say the first hardware that we came up with in 2023, and it was very for call, but we still gave it to users, and users used to give feedback to us. There were a lot of beta users, the UPSC aspirants mainly. So we got a lot of feedback, and then we iterated again and again, a couple of times going to China and then figuring out everything. Finally, we found a really good manufacturer with whom we are working right now. So awesome. That has been the story. And for your question, does capital matter? It matters a lot. At least in hardware, it's really, really. I mean, even because you cannot. There is a minimum order quantity always with respect to hardware. You cannot get, if you want like 10, 20 pieces, they won't give you. They need an assurance that you are going to buy at least a minimum order quantity. In our case, it was some manufacturers, it was 3,000. For some manufacturers, it was 5,000. Just imagine the cost, 5,000 into 15 to 20K. It's quite huge, right? And then because we have been working with them, we were able to get it down to 1,000 MOQ. But at the same time, even to get like 4 to 5 samples, you'll have to get permissions. Even in India, to import tablets, even samples, you need some certifications and permissions that are required from the government. So again, that's a tough thing. And managing money is also again a tough thing. We had raised a capital, like we had raised a pre-seed. That was quite helpful in doing R&D.
Got it. No, pretty cool. So what you're really saying is that you started looking at manufacturers in China, zeroed in on some manufacturers, iterated the product multiple times, and finally found a product that works well. You actually got feedback from everybody, mostly UPSC aspirants, and then kind of finalized. So that's how that is. But from your perspective, Yash, like Hashmint, was it the first idea that you had, or is it like did you have some other ideas as well?
So we had, I mean, before starting Hashmint, before narrowing on the name, before narrowing on the registration and everything, we were working on a bunch of ideas. I and my co-founder, as I said, we both were roommates in YF. We were doing some NFT projects, some random gigs online, and then at the end, Hashmint came up before we graduated, and then we started working on it very seriously.
Awesome. I have like a bunch of questions, but I'm going to take a pause. Right, we have Kartikeya here, Garvit's here, Jay's here. Guys, if you have any questions on how you can build a hardware-specific product, or even otherwise, right? Feel free to ask.
Yeah, I have a question actually. So, you mentioned you researched a lot of manufacturers in China, right? Is it very hard to find someone to collaborate with in India? Is it that hard?
Yeah, so there are a couple of manufacturers who started booming like last year. It just started taking up, but then there are some specific technologies in our. Sorry, there's some.
I think I lost your audio.
Oh,
For
can you hear me
a
now?
bit there. Yeah, I'm able to hear you, but I think there's a slight lag. But it's okay, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, in India, manufacturers have started booming, but there are some specific technologies required in the writing tablets, which is EMR. No one in the world has been able to figure that out other than people
Okay.
in China. So that's why we are collaborating with the manufacturers in China. But even in India, there are very large manufacturers like Dixon who are not willing to collaborate with startups.
Okay.
And their MOQs tend to be much higher in like 10,000, 20,000. It's
Okay.
quite, yeah.
And just a follow-up question on that. So, is the reaching out process different to China? Like for US, for example, it's much more like globalized and connected, right? Is China? Is it harder to collaborate with people? Harder to reach out to them?
Yeah, there's always a language barrier. And also with US, you're at least sorted that if you make a certain agreement, let's say you have an NDA or any NNN agreement, they would comply with it. Here, there's no assurance. So you have to be very careful in what you tell them, what you do not tell them. And
Okay.
also, of course, there's a language barrier as well.
Got it. But what was the channel of communication? I'm assuming it's not LinkedIn or something.
No, it's not LinkedIn. It's mainly Alibaba. That's where you find manufacturers. Along with that, there were a couple of friends who had previously done YF and went to China and are situated there. So I had used their
Correct.
reaching out to manufacturers in China.
Got it.
But main
Thank
channel
you.
is Alibaba.
Got it. Got it.
Hello. Yes, I have a small question. So, like, if you compare the journey of boat, right? They are also basically manufacturing in China and then bringing it to Indian market. Like, how different is your method compared to, like, let's say the journey of the company boat?
So I think I'm not sure. In the early stages, I think they were buying off-the-shelf products from China, if it is correct from what I have read. And slowly they have added their own designs and they have added their own elements. But in our case, the entire OS is built in India. We don't even ship that image file to them. We just get the hardware from there and then flash the OS here. Even in terms of hardware, we send the design files and everything from here, and they just replicate those design files. So I would say we are just using their manufacturing unit to manufacture our own design files. We have NDA and everything for them not to disclose these design files, but I'm not sure whether they would comply with it or not. That's why I would advise if it's possible in India, it's better to do it in India. So in the long run, we'll also do take measures in such a way that we'll slowly move assembly to India and then slowly move the entire manufacturing to India.
And a small question regarding the product. So, like, let's say we are buying a normal tablet, right? And we are using some, like, let's say some application to lock out all the applications, except like maybe a drawing application. How different is that compared to buying Hashmint?
I mean, the experience entirely varies, right? Because from the ground up, our motivation has been to deliver only the features which are useful to increase your productivity and not add any distractions. Because, I mean, yeah, a bunch of product managers are here. They would know how the experience would be different if you start building something and then maneuver it in some way which is helpful, or start building something from the scratch with particular notion. So, I mean, there are a bunch of apps, right? People would even now use that, like iPads, in iPads or any other tablet, but they're not successful because even if I say, let's say on Instagram, I use some other app to blog, I just skip it and then go to Instagram anyway. So, I mean, the environment sort of matters. So we built it from scratch so that there are no distractions.
Okay, good. I think it will be very useful in case someone wants to gift their children, right? Okay, I want to gift my child some tablet. Yes, I think in that case it will be very useful.
Yeah. And even let's say someone is preparing for something and wants to like really focus on that and not get distracted, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, this was exactly what my question was, Yashwant. So, who really is the target audience here? I was actually thinking about it. Like, would kids be a great audience? Because at least from our side, we had some time. We grew up with books, I guess, and then later smartphones kicked in.
Yeah.
For kids, I guess, right from day one, even education happens on tablets today. But just wanted to understand from your side, what is the target audience from your side?
For now, the immediate audience is going to be students in college and researchers in the US and EU. That's whom we are targeted towards. But of course, there's going to be knowledge workers like you and me and a lot of other audience as well. But our users are going to be students and researchers in the Western markets.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then slowly we'll also go towards the schools and everything, because I think it's really useful for them as well.
Got it. So today, as you sell the product, are you seeing maximum traction from the Western markets itself, or are you getting traction from India too?
So incidentally, what happened is we launched it in India. The goal was also to just give 1,000 units here so that we'll iterate on the software and make it perfect before we go to the US. But even on the Indian website, we got more orders from the Western markets. So that's again a sign. In India, the goal right now, because one thing I've observed is in hardware, people in India are more interested to buy it if it is already successful in the Western markets. They are not taking the choice proactively. So that's why it makes sense to launch it there and get successful there and probably come back to India and also do it here.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yashwant, I had one more question following up. So when you say you want to enter the US markets first, Western markets, and then come back to India, so how are you targeting Remarkable? Just the price point, or are there significant differences?
Yeah. So when we are targeting the Western markets, it's not just the price point. Price point is it's going to be almost comparable. We don't want to be positioned as a cheap Remarkable because I'm solving the problems that are there on the Remarkable. So a bunch of problems in Remarkable is I've been talking to a lot of users in the West as well who use Remarkable. So first thing is that they do spend a lot on productivity, hardware and software. So that's not a problem. They have enough propensity to buy tools. But then the problem is, let's say someone is using Remarkable to write their notes. Remarkable has been they launched in 2019, but they started the company in 2013. It's been there since 13 years. Only feature that they added to Remarkable is handwriting to text in the last, that only significant feature. So they're pretty slow in terms of the software cycles. As I said, we are going to compete around the positioning that we are more intelligent Remarkable. If you want to do something more than just, it's about productivity only at the end of the day. Let's say I'm writing notes and I want to go deeper into something. There should be an option to just circle around a word and get the meaning of it, or even the complex understanding of it. Again, the responsibility is on us to deliver that in a way that it's not adding up to the distractions. So we are positioning it in a way that it's much better Remarkable.
Great.
Ishan, what else can you do? Because it's a tablet and now you have AI as well. Would you be able to talk us through how you're utilizing AI? Or basically, yes, notes are written. What next? What all can be done?
Yeah, right now you're building semantic search. So one thing, I'll say my own use case. Let's say I've been writing journals since my childhood, my 7th standard. Let's say I want to search for a specific scenario. I don't know the keywords of it. I have all the information in digital format. If I am able to search for a specific with just context of it, that would be really, really helpful. And if I don't know the exact keywords. So that's what we are building right now. The team is going to ship it in the next update. So that's one use case. And second use case, let's say I have a 50-page notebook, which I have to go through very quickly. If I can chat with a bot, which can explain me what's there in that 50 pages, it would be really helpful and effective for me. And again, voice notes. Let's say I also have an app of Hashmint in my phone, and I'm on the go. I'm taking some notes. I'm just doing voice notes. Right now, I do it on WhatsApp. I have a group. I mean, everyone does it, right? They have a group for themselves, and then they take the notes there. So if I can do it there, and then if it automatically gets into my device, and then I can also see the transcripts or summaries of it, it would be really helpful. So all these things can be done with AI. And as the question was asked, Remarkable cannot do it because they have some hardware limitations that they cannot surpass, right?
Yeah, great. Also, from your side, Yashwant, how are the roles in the team actually arranged? Like, which part do you take care of? You mentioned that your co-founder actually flew to China, so I'm assuming he's the one who manages the supply chain part of it. But can you help us understand who manages the design, sales? Like, how is the role actually distributed?
So initially, it was just two of us. I was the one writing the OS, and he was the one taking care of hardware. And then now we have around a 10-member team. So in 10 members, 7 members are just tech people. One is really good at the writing technology. They use OpenGL. If anyone here is aware of the gaming technologies, they use OpenGL so that the rendering and all is perfect. And one person is really good at the firmware layer. One person is really good at the OS and even the backend. So they are specialists. There are like a couple of designers. So all the tech people are specialists in their own niches. So that's there. And there is one person who is taking care of operations. And me and my co-founder, I'm mostly right now, I'm looking after the Kickstarter launch and the expansion into the West and the business aspect of it. And my co-founder is taking care of the product.
Yes, and just one question. So, how did you expand into the West and the US market? So, like, if there's a founder, right, and they want to expand to the Western market and US market, can you give them like a step-by-step process?
So for us, it's because it's a hardware company. Ideally, anyone would do a Kickstarter or Indiegogo launch. So we're also going to do a Kickstarter. And again, the problem with that is these days, every day, at least 10 to 15 people randomly post something on Kickstarter. So it's difficult to get attention from the masses. If you're just posting on Kickstarter, there should be a proper strategy for it. I'm currently working with a company called Launchboom. So if Kickstarter is JE, Launchboom is your quota coaching industry. So what Launchboom does is they have been working in this space over a decade. They have launched around 800 hardware companies and they have been very successful. So anyone can write an application to Launchboom and then they'll interview you. If they like it, they'll select you and then you have to pay fees and then they'll start working with you. The process has been pretty straightforward. We have been iterating on the ad copies and everything since the day one. It's been a month I've been working with them. Our ads will go live like tomorrow. And if people don't have enough money to pay Launchboom, they even have their open source. I mean, they have a book in which they discuss all the crowdfunding strategies in the West. So there's a reservation funnel. There's a proper process with which they do a pre-launch process because pre-launch is more important than launch. With successful pre-launch, let's say we are launching on Kickstarter on May 1, Launchboom on an average has been able to close the targets in 17 minutes for all the hardware companies that they have worked with. So yeah, we are doing pre-launch now, and then in May we are going to launch on Kickstarter. Mainly the idea is not just to get the money, but also to understand, although we have an opinion on who is going to be our ICP, we'll understand more on what kind of personas are buying the device. So that will help us more to run ads more after that. George, does that answer your question?
Yes. And one more question, like what all marketing channels have you explored? Like, have you tried Google advertisement, Facebook, Meta? Like, can you tell us about all the channels that you are using?
Yeah, I'll tell. So for this Kickstarter thing, what we are doing is we are going to run mainly ads on Facebook, and we have a specific set of audiences set up in terms of targeting. Because our users are mostly going to be students, researchers, people who write the journal. So different types of audiences. So we have ad copies. We are going to do like experiment with 10 sets of audiences to see which one works more. So in the initial couple of weeks, starting actually today, March 1st to March 15th, we are spending $1,000 to $2,000 to test out which ad experiment really works out of all the 10. And then after that comes the scaling phase. So in that, I mean, one thing is obviously Facebook. So there are two options when they see the ad. They either can just click that they are interested, or they're really interested, they can pay $1 so that they are in the reservation funnel. Whenever the Kickstarter launch is happening, we are going to give priority to them. So whoever does the $1 thing, they're going to be called a VIP. And these VIP people, we are adding them to a Facebook group, which is called Facebook Hashmint VIPs. They'll get constant information on what's going on. And they'll also get newsletters every week, whoever has signed up. So in newsletters as well, for the people who clicked just that they're interested, there will be more and more prompts to push them towards the $1 reservation. Because, I mean, this reservation funnel entirely has been built by Launchboom, as I said. They have been working with hardware companies. They have seen that people who pay $1 are 37 times more likely to buy the entire product than the people who are just clicking interest.
Okay, I think that's a very good strategy. And also one more thing, is there any way to use a artificial intelligence inside Hashmint? So for example, like let's say I am writing some question, right? Can I just click on a button and get the answer for that?
Yeah, there's a way for that. There's the AI tutor as well, which can help people in that.
Okay, so artificial intelligence is integrated into Hashmint, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
I have a question regarding organization of nodes that happens. So, like, that is a big problem in general, like organization of nodes. And as you were earlier speaking, putting a query functionality to it, chat functionality to it, and things like that, right? Want to understand if you're doing all of that on your own, or are you collaborating with someone like Notion or any such players in the market? How are you?
We are taking inspiration from them, but we have been doing it on our own.
Okay.
In terms of AI, though, we have been talking to a couple of firms. We are looking for a partnership with them because it's integrated in the device.
Right. And like, is this one of the big priorities for Hashmint to get the organization of nodes and like the prioritization frameworks and all of that for work planning mainly, things like that? Is that also one of the priorities? That's
one of the priorities. I think it's already been sorted off. As in, okay. So far it's really good. I also use the device every day for my own work. As I said, I'm building for myself first. Yes. So so I think it's pretty sorted. Right now, we're more focused on integrating the voice and also getting the conversion to Indic languages.
Got it.
Nice. So right now, is it possible for us to write in any Indic languages, like in Hashmint? So we can try any language in India, and the notes will be saved.
Yeah, you can write in any language, and also like any language, because AI is really good right now. You can even convert that to English, any language.
Okay.
No, the only challenge we are trying to make it work offline. For example, last week we were able to achieve really good accuracy for offline audio transcription models. So ideally what we do is we take some models which are on the market and try to increase their efficiency, tune it in some way. So right now we are working on the voice.
Okay, nice. And is there any feature which we cannot find in normal note-taking applications like Evernote and all, right? Is there any feature that will make it like an aha moment?
One feature people have been really liking is there's a visualize feature. Kids are really liking it. Let's say I write heart and then circle around it and try to visualize it. There's a 3D image that comes up, which I can really zoom in and try to understand each part of the heart. Okay. This has been creating aha moment among kids. And boomers, I would say a lot of boomer VCs are getting excited. I never thought they would get excited by this. There is a feature which can convert strokes into emojis. Let's say I draw a smiley and then try to convert it to emojis. I don't know, a lot of boomers are getting excited for that.
Nice.
Hi, Ashwan. Samek here.
Hi, Samak.
Hey, I'm not sure if you remember, but I think we met when we were preparing for product roles at some point in time. And
Are you my senior from Pilani campus?
no, I think I'm your junior. One year your junior.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm very glad to see Hashmint rolling out and uh, whatever you're doing with it. I just wanted to know, are you putting emphasis only on the note-taking aspect of the tablet, or are you also targeting, let's say, reading? For example, we have this daylight computer. Who's I think optimizing for readability and being able to read out in natural light, and I think that is a segment that definitely can have some attention, because now with Substack, another long form coming in, people like, or I think there is definitely a market for for people to go in to, let's say, a device which is disconnected from their other devices and read in peace without needing to be bombarded with notifications. So is that an aspect that you've looked into?
I'm glad you asked it. Yeah, I mean, reading is also one of the main parameters that we are looking at, because, as I said, Remarkable, they could have at least launched a bookstore, which could have been useful if they want to compete with Kindle as well. That's one of the problems people face, because if they're using Remarkable, they write notes on it, but then whenever they want to, even PDF annotation is quite laggy. So we are also taking steps towards that. First step is, I mean, the display is decent enough. If you want to read as well, that's really good. And second step is PDF annotate, like you can download your PDFs from cloud and then read them. And third step for us would be to integrate a bookstore. We are actually in talks with a couple of online bookstores who actually are dealing with Amazon and Books and other big players as well. If the deal works out, then we're going to see a marketplace in Hashmint as well, where you can just buy the book and also read it, annotate it, etc. That's going to be the next step. And after that, as I said, Substack. For that, we are actually thinking of a way where there's going to be a Chrome extension of Hashmint, and then when you open some browser on your laptop or anywhere when you are reading something, if you just click on that Chrome extension, the entire the site will get loaded as a PDF in your Hashmint device.
Yeah, I mean, some food for thought for you, given that I have been a user of such tablets. In fact, when I was in my second year, I was discussing this with a friend that, hey, we could maybe build some, e-ink, color e-ink displays, and then Kobo came out. So I've been a Kobo user for about a year or so, and I used to use the Pocket extension there. So whenever I used to read, like, let's say, go through an article, I think that this is interesting and it's very long for me to read right away, I would just save it on my Pocket through my Pocket extension, and that got transferred onto my Kobo device, and I would be able to download those articles on my Kobo, and I would be able to read them. Now, when Pocket got shut, Instapaper took its place, and but Instapaper's extension is like it's not very good. It's very out of date, and it has many limitations. So I've been sticking to Readwise, which is again another reading app, and I think uh, instead of building that Chrome extension, maybe as a starting point, maybe you could partner with some of these reading apps, and that could maybe help you get images as well as multimedia coming in, and highlights, and being able to share those highlights, have comments, annotations, etc. could be solved. So yeah, something maybe for you to explore.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can think around that line. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So from Samek's perspective, I mean, I'm a little confused here. The idea is, Yashan, for you now it's a note taker. But from Samek's perspective, it looks like if you can bring content externally and then comment on it, annotate it, bring images into it. So that's the use case, right? Like right now you're focused on someone writing own notes. But then only if there's external content, this thing helps, right? Just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, from my view, there should be an option for them to bring the external content onto the device if they want to read it. The use case might get diluted if we ourselves provide the third-party content on the device. I mean, that's a like pretty thin line to stand on. We have to be very careful.
Got it. Yashwant, can you also because this one I have no clue how the product lifecycle works in hardware, right? Used to it how I'm used to how it works in software. It's pretty fast. You iterations are fast, shipping is fast, but for you it's a mix. Can you talk through that? Yeah, how does it actually work?
So for the hardware iterations, again, we have to collaborate with our Chinese manufacturer partners that we have. Any small iteration that's required, let's say internally or even the enclosure, it takes a couple of months. Any small change that's required. So, and also a lot of budget. So in software, we can try it out, test it out, and then discard it if it's not working. But here it's not the case. We have to think about it very carefully even before approaching them that we want to do this.
Got it. And Yashan, from your perspective, you spoke about Launchboom or Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but all of these are crowdfunding platforms. But for your initial capital, did you have some investors who came on board, or was it mostly you guys bootstrapping it? What is the same?
So for initially pre-seed, we had around 3 crores. We raised from a couple of angels. Famous ones are, one is PV Srinivasan, he's a board member of Wipro, and then there is this guy Mrinal Mittal, who is CEO of Black Teak. So there were a couple of angels. We raised around 2.7 to 3 crores in pre-seed, but that was enough for doing the R&D. And right now, as we scale and scale the supply chain and also grow to US, we are right now raising a seed round. It's going through, and even in that, we raised again 2 crores of angel funding.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. Guys, any other questions from your side?
Yeah, just one more. So I know, I can explore this further on the website as well, but just was curious that does Hashmint at this moment just have the functionality of a notebook, or are you thinking about it more of an alternate smartphone, in the sense that you can have I saw your landing page and it talks about how you're reimagining focus and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Considering that, instead of thinking about it just as a notebook, if it has other functionalities of a smartphone which are non-distracting, there are lots of useful things as well, right? Are there plans to integrate that, or is it already there, or how do you think about this?
So this device, it's going to be just a notebook and probably a book and a brainstorming partner. But I understand what you are trying to say. I want to launch that in future.
Right.
More time and capital. I also want to launch a smartphone which only caters to communication, navigation, and payments. I thought through about this.
Right. So I'm we can probably discuss it at the end of the session. But I'm trying to build something, not a alternate phone as such, but something in the same space of focus, reimagining focus. I think maybe our post session we can have a minute chat about it.
Yeah, Samyak has just commented light phone. Yeah, there is light phone. There is the minimal company. They're pretty good. But I have talked to people who have bought it in India. It doesn't sort of cater to Indian audience. For example, let's say we need phone pay or UPI for sure. They're using even non-distraction technology. So someone has to build that as well for Indian. The light phone for Indian.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, when you had this idea, right, and when you were thinking about raising funding, how did you approach? What was the process you followed that helped you secure angel funding and all this?
I think it's mostly about it's a volume game at the end of the day. If you are trying to, raise from 5 to 10 people on a particular set amount, you need to approach 100 people. It's totally a volume game, I would say. Okay. On this, there's a pretty good guide written by my friend Dhaval, who runs Mayo Health. If you can search Dhaval Jain fundraising guide Notion, you'll find it online, I guess. If not, maybe I can drop a link later. That's pretty helpful.
Okay. So you followed the same process.
Yeah, I would say the same process. I didn't read the thing exactly, but I had guidance from Dhaval.
Okay. So you dropped the cold email, or did you meet them personally in person? How was it?
Oh, no, actually, this was not cold email. Mostly, these are connections of connections. Bitsian network is vast enough. If you ask anyone, they'll be willing to introduce you to any other person that they know. So we can utilize our network as much as possible. Because cold, I wouldn't say it would go pretty. I mean, it's very tough to crack something in cold. If it's better if you can find some connection who can introduce it.
Yeah, and this is exactly what my next question was as well, Yashwant. So, bits and then YF. Can you also help us understand, especially from a bits standpoint, how does the network help you, and how can it help other folks as well? Some tips from your side too.
So if you're building a startup, there is this big startup community which is run by Amit Gupta. I'm not sure you
Right.
guys are in it or not, but it's quite helpful. Even if you pose any question there are people willing to help. And if you want any connection, there are people willing to connect them to you. And also, even if you meet someone outside the network as well, if you just say you are from Bits, probably they would have someone, some mutual connection with you. So that's really helpful. For me, YF also really helped because that also gave me the new set of connections. Yeah, connection. I mean, Bits network is quite helpful. In startup, people say that IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, and Bits are on like at par in terms of the network.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. I think I more or less I'm done with all of my questions. Guys, any other questions from your side before we have closing remarks? Okay. So Yashan, from your side, right? Like, just wanted to know what's the best way to actually reach you. I think, yeah, we might be hearing about Hashmint. Like some of us are hearing it for the first time, and then we might have more questions, and we want to reach out to you. What's the best way to actually reach out to you in the future?
I'll drop my email in the chat. Anyone can email me. I read all my emails.
Awesome. Okay, great. Awesome, guys. So this is how you can reach out to Yashwant. And also, Yashwant, if you had to recommend few people who you think we should invite to these sessions, do you have some names in your mind?
You should definitely invite founders of Mave Health. They are doing a pretty good job. They're also launching in US right now. Either Jay or Aman or Dhaval, they'll be helpful to people. And second, you should call. Have you had founders of Nextem on the pod?
No, not yet.
Yeah, you should call Siddhant. He's also like quite intelligent, building a great thing.
What's the company again? It's
Nextem.
Mixtemp.
Nextem.
Okay, Nextem.
Yeah, they're working on brain-computer interface.
All right. Awesome. Cool. We'll definitely do that, Yashwant. And
also, you can call KV. He's from Craft My Plate. They're working in the food tech space. They're in Hyderabad. Their revenues are soaring like anything. So on that sense, that he can give some inputs.
Okay. Personalized online bulk food catering. All right. Cool. Awesome.
I think they're doing like 40 lakh MRR or something right now.
Oh man. All right. Pretty cool. I'll definitely get these guys on board. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing these recommendations. So also thanks to George for coordinating with Yashwant and bringing him on board. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's spending time on Sunday to actually come here. It's called Craft My Plate, I guess. Yep.
I'll just type it.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the weekend. And yeah, a great day, great week ahead as well.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you, George, for organizing this. Thank you all for coming.
Yes.
Hope you all build amazing startups.
Yes. Nice meeting you, Yashwant, and best wishes.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best to Yashwant. We wish you nothing but success. All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.